It's Thursday, January 17, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. A veteran tourism specialist suggests the time has come for Barbados and other regional governments to bail out of the airline business. Retired travel and cruise expert Cecil Ince tells Barbados Today not only is the cost of travel simply too high, but he hopes recent taxes imposed on the industry were temporary. He also says the time had come for a more unified approach to aviation within the region, given the struggles of a regional carrier, Iliad.
We still act as units, although we have a CARICOM organization that goes back to the famous Montego Bay agreement. But I would love to feel that there could be a unification of aviation thinking. And unfortunately, I don't think that governments are the best owners of airlines. I think, although there's always a fear that private enterprise will charge more because they want to see a profit, and that government can subsidize. But by the same token, Iliad has not really been a great financial success, although they try very hard.
He also tells Barbados Today that Bridgetown's bread and butter industry would do well with more training of industry workers and continued improvements in customer service.
When you experience the service on a cruise ship, which is largely drawn from the Far East, the Indonesians, the Filipinos, and the Goanese Indians, which was a Portuguese colony at one time, Goa. The service is impeccable. Our hotel service, I think, generally is very good. And for some reason, airline travel has become much more utility, and people are frequent travelers, and there are all sorts of incentives like mile points and mileage points. But I think it could certainly be improved.
Trade unionist Senator Caswell Franklin says he's taken a case for non-payment of gratuity and pension to the International Monetary Fund. He claims the non-payment of these entitlements to a former Transport Board worker is being attributed to the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, which is supported by the fund. The head of the Unity Trade Union tells Barbados Today he will be writing the IMF shortly to get clarity on the matter.
She worked 32 and a third years for the government, and then now, come time to get her pension and gratuity, they're saying that this man and the government qualified for this program thing so that it can't be paid. I am going to write the IMF on it. Because if they are blaming the IMF for this woman guaranteed gratuity, I'm going to say that I'm going to write the IMF and find out. Because this is a debt the government's about to carry the debt.
Taxpayers are being afforded a fresh opportunity to ease the cost of health care on their pockets. This as Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, announced plans to ramp up a health and wellness sensitization program within the coming weeks. Strawn said the program is designed to create a healthier Barbados and get the entire population involved in better managing what money comes out of their pay packets.
It's not an overnight thing, but we're talking about making sure then that people are able to live or pursue lifestyles then that are much more health conscious, wellness, such that over the cost of providing health care both from government as well as out of pocket for private citizens, we believe then should be able to come down.
A Barbadian man wanted by Canadian authorities will know tomorrow whether he will be extradited. 64-year-old Errol Vivian Jones of Bridgefield St. Thomas will have his time in the District D Magistrates Court on January 18 after Magistrate Douglas Frederick offered him $15,000 bail and adjourned the matter when he appeared in the District A Magistrates Court yesterday. Acting Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions Anthony Blackman, who appeared on behalf of the Crown, revealed that Jones was residing in Canada when he was convicted of drug-related offenses on November 11, 1993 and August 31, 1994. In sports, the results of the St. George Primaries Inter-House School Sports are not yet final, pending the cricket ball throw event to take place at the school sometime next week. However, on the conclusion of yesterday's track races, Blue House on 374 points were ahead of Red House, which amassed 354 points, while defending champions Green House were in third on 328 points and Yellow House on 266 points.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, authorities in the Bahamas may be forced to take drastic measures to save the conch population. This after a report showed that the seafood stock was rapidly depleting and entering endangered territory. More of that story from ZNS News.
A possible ban on conch exports and making fishermen land their catch in their shells are just some of the options being considered by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources following a report by Community Conch and Chicago Shed Aquarium suggesting that within 10 to 15 years, the country's rapidly depleting conch stock would no longer be able to sustain commercial fishing. The study was done over a 10-year period from 2007 to 2017. Acting Director of Fisheries Edison Delaveau says the concern is very real and the study supports the concerns officials have expressed for years.
All you have to do is visit any conch landing site where there's a pile of conch shell, normally referred to as a conch midden. When you look at those middens, you would see huge quantities of juvenile conch. That is evidence that juvenile conchs are being landed. Persons right now having to go deeper waters and further afield to find conch.
On the international scene, U.S. soldiers have been killed in an apparent suicide bombing in northern Syria claimed by the Islamic State group. According to reports, a militant detonated an explosive vest next to a U.S. patrol, killing 2 U.S. soldiers, a civilian employee at the Defense Department, and a contractor, while 3 other U.S. soldiers were wounded.
4 Americans are among the dead after Wednesday's suicide bomb attack in the Syrian city of Manbij claimed by Islamic State. U.S. Central Command said a bomber with a suicide vest targeted a restaurant where U.S. troops were meeting an allied militia. The blast killed 2 U.S. soldiers and 2 American civilians working for the military. The attack appears to be the deadliest on U.S. forces in Syria since they deployed there in 2015. A Syrian monitor group said 19 people had been killed in all.
We promised under this president's leadership
It came just hours before Vice President Mike Pence, speaking in Washington, repeated President Donald Trump's message that ISIS had been defeated.
We're now actually able to begin to hand off the fight against ISIS in Syria to our coalition partners. The caliphate has crumbled.
That Reuters TV report brings us to the end of your news update, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.